Yeah, what up, Patreon? It's your man Confidence here with a beat making video. Uh-oh. Yo, it's been a little bit, man, but I think I'm back on track. You know what I'm saying? That's why I put it out there to everybody, which joint you want me to break down. And, I got a few votes, and the first beat won. So when I play it, you'll know what it is. I mean, you guys like both of them. I appreciate it. I'll do the other one at the end of the month, unless something else pops up. Another beat, you know what I'm saying? Well, there has been another one or two beats, but today I'm gonna break down the first beat. I'm gonna play the beat for you first, and then I'm gonna go through the sample selection and the construction and what I like. You know what I mean? My style, how this kind of all came about. Because it's kind of funny how it all came about. Because this was the first beat I made in over a month, so it's very interesting. But here's the beat, just to give you a taste, just so you remember. Yo, man, I gotta say, this shit is smooth. Yo, very smooth. So, let's get into how it all started. And you can see, right, there's a lot of sounds. I've added. I even muted some. I was like, you know what, I don't think they work. Some horns, but we'll get to that later. But it all started with this. This is how the whole beat started. That's all I had. I had gone a couple times. I was looking for sounds. I heard this intro. It's just a first of all, let's get into what that really was. So I put some of my signature, sort of tremolo wah wah effect on it. But this is the original. This is what it sounded like. That is the start of the whole beat right there. Just that one sound, the strings. So when I added the wah wah on it, the tremolo, it turned into this. But at any rate, what's most important is that's all I started with. I had that and the bass line and the drum break. I was looking for drum breaks. See, because what I like to do when I chop, I typically play out my own drums. When I kind of loop sections and longer pieces of music, I like to put a break over it because I feel like it complements that style of music more. You know what I'm saying? Because when it's chops, then my drums can match that chop feel. Like a break, you might not be able to find a break. I mean, you could find a break to match the feel, but I like playing out the drums and the samples in real time on the pads to try to get a groove and try to get a feel. But for this, I wanted a break. So I had a couple breaks here. Like, I don't even remember what this one was. But clearly I didn't go with it. I went with this one. Right? Nice, clean. It's almost 116 pretty much, but it's got a little bounce to it. That's the one I went with. So basically, if I could think back, I had multiple bass lines. If you check the Instagram post, I had other bass lines to begin with. So I really put a lot of work into this beat. It wasn't just a, I'm done. All right, this was like, certain beats are special to me. I take my time. I take extra time. So anyway, it started with, the drum break, this, and the bass line. And now if we go back to the main, where was I? From there, as I'm scrolling through my folder of samples, yes, I did find the Jimmy McGriff, which I did a live video on, the sort of the construction of this beat. This sample right here. And if I go through my folder down here, all the sounds are down here. that's an OC sample from Word Life, Ma Dukes, for those that don't know. It was an amazing beat. And guess what? I sampled it. But guess what? I didn't loop it. It's not my foundation. It's a layer. You know how much of an advantage it is to use a predefined, already existing dope sound as a layer instead of the foundation? You're not biting it. You're borrowing and you're enhancing your foundation. So if you can use the right use sample, not only is it a plus because if somebody listens, like, oh shit, that's OC. Number two, it's going to sound good like automatically, even if you don't know the sample, because it just has that feel. It's already built in and it was already used whether you know it or not. So it already has a sound that people will gravitate to. So anyway, I pitched this up a little bit. I had to time stretch it, right? See, this right here is the pitch. 0 it starts at. 1.0 this starts at. And then I put it over the beat. So what I'll do here is as I break it down, because remember I said I can't do it on my MPC unless I do it the time I made it, and I didn't finish this beat in one day, so I had to track it out. I'm looking to get the card reader for the MPC so I can save on the MPC, load on the MPC, play it out so you guys can get a different feel. But at any rate, so this is what I had after I re-added the bass line, which really I changed it to this feel just for the hook. I thought it had a nice feel for the main. For the hook, but I didn't want. It was too busy for the verse because there wasn't as much going on. So the bass could kind of get drowned out. The bass note is not all that. I do the 16 levels, so I don't want it too much. If this was like a real bass, then I would want to get more into it. But this is what I had to start. This is what I post on Instagram. With the strings, like if you listen to the strings and the guitar, to me it's a match made in heaven. Listen to the blending of the two. They go together perfectly. And then you add the bass. I mean, it was just like a match made in heaven for me. So, when I added that, I'm like, okay, great. I got to keep going. I can't stop now. So one of the things that I really love is the turnaround. At the end of the loop, a turnaround to kind of bring everything together, turn it back around to the beginning so that it just flows nice and smooth. So anyway, one of the best ways to do that is with a guitar because, or guitar or horns, depending on the melody, because it kind of just ends the sort of the loop, the sequence, and then brings it back to the beginning. So this was one that I wanted to use at the end when I found it. And this is another known sample. And if we go back down here to my list, I'll cut in a little. Was that it? I only took a little bit of it because I only needed a little bit. I wanted it to cut off at the end of the bar, not go over. So I didn't use it all. And then, of course, I had to pitch. I pitched it down. I slowed it down. But this is from Pete Rock and I think another artist. But Pete Rock and Baby Paul. The first track on Baby Paul's album. Or D-Daw, Baby Paul. But his guitars. Those guitars are amazing. Hold on. I mean, I've sampled those vibes in other songs, man. I don't give a fuck. It ain't my foundation. I get a pass. I'm not biting. That's not biting, okay? So, I mean, when I added the guitars, I just went crazy. I literally went crazy. got the delay, so it's not all dry. I like it to like nicely blend back in. You can't hear it on here. Why can't you? But you could hear it on here. There is the delay in the mix, but you can't hear it like singled out right here. But I just love how this all went together. So I was like, okay, great. I have the foundation. It's 100% set. I've added 2 samples over the foundation to really make it full. I'm good to go. I was like, all right, now I got the verse. What am I going to do? Number 1, I filtered this down. See that? For the hook, it's like more bright and shiny. For the verse, I wanted to filter it down because I wanted to get just a little of the string, but I wanted to accent it with other sounds. And like I said, with the bass, I wanted to... I really had a tough time with the bass on the verse. I went back like 3 times, and even this one, I'm not 100% on it, but I was like, you know, I think it's good enough. I feel like it's not even 100% on pitch. It's very frustrating. Like one note is like a hair off, and it bothers me. But I wanted something very, you know, simple for the verse because I wanted the music to shine through and just the bass to highlight some of the low end. So, with that being said, look at this sample. There's no wave. But, yo, the sound on this, I had to turn it up a lot, as you can see. It's up all the way, almost. But the sound is so ill. Like, it went so good over the verse. I'll play you the original. I mean, first of all, that's just an ill, like, just, like, classic Rhodes. I don't even know if that's, like, early 80s, but it just sounds so ill. So again, it's almost like a chop, like some of the sounds I take. I only take pieces, small pieces generally, and then larger pieces too. But like for this, I mean, yo, when once again, when I put this over the beat, over the verse at this point, I was just like, forget about it. This is insane. Almost like you could just have like a ill singer just fucking kill this. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like R&B. I mean, it pretty much is. So boom, I had that going for the verses, and then I found this other sample. As you can see, I have 3 samples that come in for the verse. Like, I really put a lot of work into this. So I found these ill pianos on this joint right here. I mean, that melody right there is like, it sounds so good. I didn't even have to change the pitch. It was already in the same fucking tune. Like, how lucky. Ready? So the whole point with adding sounds, and this took me, you know, a number of years to sort of perfect, is that when you add sounds to your foundation, you have to always enhance the sound. Number 1, you have to enhance what you already have. Don't just add it just to add it. It has to enhance it in a certain way. It has to make you feel a certain way, or you have to think it's going to make the listener feel a certain way. And number 2, damn, I just messed up. Number 1, let's start over because I can't edit this. Believe me, I wish I could. Number 1, make sure that it enhances the feel of your foundation. That's the most important part. Don't just sample it just because it's in tune with the sound. Like right out of the gate, if it's in tune, you're like, oh my god, this could be the one. Then you listen, you're like, nothing really good, but I'll try this section. I'll throw it in there. Okay, great, but don't keep it there unless you find, if something comes along better, get rid of that shit and put something else in there, because the whole goal is to enhance the foundation of what you already have. If it doesn't do that, you're doing a disservice to the beat. All right. So that's what I had to learn, because what I would do at times, I would find these sounds, I'd be like, oh, this is sick. But what it would end up doing is changing the whole feel of the beat. Unless you want that to happen, you want to keep that feel consistent throughout. So you only want to add sounds that complement what you already have in place. If you don't do that, then the beat just starts going in different directions, the style, the genre, like it just changes. So it's very important from a beat making perspective. That's what I strive to do at all times. You have to know when to sacrifice for the right of the beat, okay? So anyway, I thought these pianos, all these sounds I've added, all complemented the foundation, which was just that string section. So I had these ill little road chords, the piano hits, and then there was one more thing. And this, I like one sound was better than the next, almost for me. This is some like Japanese shit. So I had all these, like, first of all, I love guitars. I mean, I already have another guitar already in here, but this one is a totally different style, and it's not going over the hook; it's going over the verse. So I cut this in two sections because it didn't really fit with the beat. I wanted to try to make it kind of flow evenly. I only tuned it down a little bit. As you can see, I didn't even change the pitch, the speed, I should say. But here's how it sounds in the beat. It just sounds so good. You know what made this sound so good? Not only the guitar, those bells. I love bells. I love like the high pitched sounds overall, but the bells combined with guitar, combined with the strings, it's just and the Rhodes. It just doesn't get any better. Piano comes in. I mean, it's just so melodical. There's so much emotion in this. Um, so as we keep it moving, I was looking for sounds, looking for sounds. I came across this here, and I love, like, me personally, I love like taking like samples, number one, but samples that kind of have that keyboard synthy sound, but it's a sample and it's old, and I throw it in the beat, and in some cases it sounds like keyboard, but it's not. It's sampled. You know what I mean? I love that. Like you're like manipulating the sound to the listener in my mind. So anyway, I had this sound in the beat right here. I definitely pitched this up. 6.8. I pitched it up, and I sped it up. I was throwing this around the verse, and I was just like, it's all right. But then I threw it in the beginning just to experiment, and I really liked how it sounded to set it off. I mean, that's basically the whole beat. And now, the only thing you're not going to see is all the sounds I had to go through to get to this part. And that is what it takes. A lot of time, a lot of sacrifice, a lot of trial and error. Yes, I'm very talented, but I still have to put in the work. I mean, some days the sounds just come and boom, you got a beat, you're done. But most of the time, you have to spend time going through sounds and cutting and editing and placing, and just a lot of back and forth. This was almost one of those, but it was definitely worth it. I don't think there's not a whole lot of other sounds I didn't attempt to use, because what I did was, after I had the ones I hear, when I tracked this out, then I went through sounds and just threw them right in the mix. So that's why when you see like this 329. That's song 329. So I was just going through samples and adding them right into the tracked out version. So this is the whole beat. I'll attempt to add this beat again so you guys can listen to it. This will be the beat of the month. And if all goes well, my dude Rashid Chappelle is gonna lace this joint with a verse. A verse is, and we can put it out. But you guys are gonna get the first breakdown of how it all started, and I'm gonna give you first access if he gets me those vocals. He's supposed to be working on it now. So let me know what you guys think. This was 20 minutes. Not bad. Not bad. I was afraid it could be longer. Let me know if this is what you were looking for or if you want something more specific. But this was basically, some of the inner workings of what I do and how I do it. All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed. Peace.